You want to know the telltale sign if you really enjoyed something, say a movie or a book? The answer is if you're willing to read it again, recommend it to a friend, that's how you know it's a worthwhile investment. So now let's roll up our sleeves and let's get to our physical and spiritual challenge. Let's look in Parshas Vayakhel and Pekudei, and what do you find? It's a rerun, it's a repeat. That's right, if you wanted to know anything about building the tabernacle, if you missed it a few weeks ago, you can catch it again on channel 35, that's the Torah channel. What are we supposed to gain from this repeat? Is it exciting? Well, if you're an engineer, no doubt that it's exciting. But what if you're not an engineer? What if it's just going through the laborious details of how many planks, how many boards, how much gold and silver and turquoise and linen was required for the building? Well, God obviously felt it was important enough to repeat. What are we supposed to gain from this week's Parsha? So the reality is there's something very, very significant and subtle that the Seforno suggests. He says the moment that Moshe Rabbeinu, the moment that Moses finished constructing the Mishkan, you know what happened? God's presence, which fills the entire universe, came and descended upon the Mishkan. The moment he finished, it was done. God was there. So you know what that means? That means every single detail was significant. You take out one bolt, one screw, the whole thing falls apart. You need every little detail to bring God's presence into that Mishkan. The fact of the matter is, the Mishkan, the tabernacle, is not the only place where we have God's presence. It says that if there's peace between a husband and wife, it says that Shalom Shar B'neim, Shechina Shar B'neim, it says that if there is peace between husband and wife, God's presence exists in the marriage. Now, there's a good question. How often do you look back at your wedding photographs? Is it often? Probably not. You may have to dust it off. The question is, why do we have wedding photographs to begin with? Now, let me show you something wild. Don't tell my wife. Check out, right? This is probably illegal. I was like 2 years old at the time of this wedding photograph. Unbelievable. Now, why do you have the photography? Why do you have the photographs? Says Rabbi Avram Palm of blessed memory, you have those photographs so that when the going gets rough, sometimes you hit your challenges in life, you open up that wedding album, you say, wow, look how amazing everything was. And you say, you know what? It's still pretty amazing. And that, I think, is why we have the repeat of the Mishkan. Because imagine the moment that the Mishkan is erected, just like the moment you're there under the chuppah. Wow, there's sparks flying, there's God's presence that's coming. Everything is fantastic. Everything is amazing. What happens after a few weeks, after a few months? The doldrums of life set in. And you're going and you're going and you're going. You get used to it. You adjust to it. And then it becomes normal. But let's think for a moment. God's presence is here. God's presence is in this Mishkan. Just as well as God's presence can be in this Mishkan. It's the same thing. So sometimes while life gets boring, life gets normal, we have to remember there's a very, very special quality that exists in the Mishkan. So too, there's a very, very special quality of godliness that exists in our relationships. So it may get a little dull. Open up that album. Look back to rekindle that recognition that God is with us in our marriage, in our relationships, and in our home. Wishing you all a wonderful Shabbos.